What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ask E Everything. I hope you're out there enjoying your day today. I want to thank you for tuning in, of course. If it is your first time, thanks for checking me out. Please subscribe and leave some comments. And if you are coming back for another look, thank you for continuing to watch. First big news, I was able to gain a subscriber in the last 48 hours. This is big news for the new channel here. If you're a creator yourself, you know how big a deal it is to get single subscribers as you're trying to grow from 0. So I am now at 3, and the goal now is to double that. So I'm looking to hit 6. If you like this, or if you want to continue to see some cool content, or you like the vibe of the channel, please subscribe. Really appreciate it. The question today is kind of a continuation of the last video we did. It's kind of a secondary part, and it arose as I was doing that video live, that last video, which was, are you where you're supposed to be in life? If you haven't already checked that out, please go ahead and take a watch of it, and then you can enjoy these as kind of a two-part series, because they kind of play together. As I was talking about location in both the physical world and also the universe and just perspective in that last video, something kind of naturally came up regarding the two things that you can really choose in life, which is ultimately where you are and who you are with, or who you surround yourself with. And as I started to kind of almost go off on a tangent in that last video regarding the people in your life, I realized that it wasn't on point for that previous question, and that it would make more sense to do a video more specifically about that topic. So the question of the day today is going to be, are you surrounded by the best people for you in life? Are you currently and on a daily, regular basis surrounded by people that are the best for you in your life? Essentially, the best people to help you live your best life. The reason this is kind of a two-part series is because we spent the last video discussing how if you are not content with your location or your position in kind of the universe as far as your pursuits go, that you have the option to change those, to kind of analyze, take stock on those situations, and if you would like, you can edit them. Remember, the beauty of this life that we're starting to kind of unwrap in a lot of these questions in this series that we're kind of putting together is that this really is a video, and you're the movie maker. You make your movie. You create. And so as creators on YouTube, it's really interesting, but we need to remember that we are also creators in and of our life and of our lives. And so we get to not only, make the movie, we get to edit it also at any time. At any time we can revise it, or edit it, or take another look at it and cut a scene if we don't like it, or we can add a scene if we like it. And as far as this video is concerned, in the last video, we can change the shooting location, which is kind of what the last video was about, right? So we can pick the set, we can pick the backdrop, we can pick where we are filming it. And then we also, as the directors of our life, as the creators, as our mind being the leading force, the director of our ultimate present and therefore future lives, we are able to choose the cast that we surround ourselves with. Look, the cool thing about this movie is that we star in it. We get to direct it, produce it, and also star in it. We are our own stars. Every single one of you out there is a movie star in your own movie. And I'm not just talking about the physical movie of getting in front of the camera like this and filming and publishing something, but your actual ongoing movie, which is playing out in real time every single moment if you are aspiring to live in the present. So the question today is really more about, the people that we've chosen to spend this precious life with, the people that we've chosen to surround ourselves with in this life. We talked yesterday about how some folks would suggest that you need to be kind of, forced into a location in life sometimes based on factors like job or relationships and what have you. I think people view oftentimes their social situation similarly in that they feel obligated to be friends with certain people based on their certain factors in their life. So for example, your coworkers, you work with people. Obviously, it's nice to be friendly with your coworkers, especially while you're working together. But oftentimes this then translates to, well, that's what you should suggest that I also need to be friends with them, that I need them in my life outside of work, that I need them, in life, other than they exist as being my folks at work. Now, obviously, you don't necessarily get to choose who your coworkers are unless you own your own business and you can choose your employees. But in a sense, as we always talk about, if you step back and zoom out, you are ultimately free to work or not work at a certain place, and therefore to work or not work with certain people if that ever becomes an issue. But otherwise, there will be situations like friends of friends. So similar to the coworker thing, you start to, enjoy someone's company, become friends with them, and then you kind of adopt their friends. It just happens naturally, right? Because you get together in social settings. And this is a great thing, right? Because it's people getting together, usually that are pretty similar. But how often do you actually meet a great friend of one of your friends and not care for them at all? I know everyone out there has had this happen to them. Don't say, oh, he's being an a-hole. You know you're sitting there, and you know every one of you has had that scenario where you really start to like someone, whether it's someone you're dating or just someone that you've become friends with, and you get together in some kind of gathering where their friends are there, and you meet one of their, quote, best friends or their good friends, and you literally, as you're sitting there putting a fake smile on your face, are thinking, like, how the hell is this their friend? Anyway, that's okay, but remember, you don't have to be friends with their friends necessarily. The point is you have that freedom. Same way that you do when you're in a relationship. It happens all the time. You start dating someone, you start to meet their social circle, and you may quickly realize that there are great people that you really enjoy, but there are also going to be some people that you don't necessarily need to be great friends with. Look, you should always be cordial to each other. You should always be courteous. As I preach at the end of every one of my videos, I always believe you should be kind to one another, even if there are people around you that you don't necessarily really vibe with. But at the end of the day, what this video is about is realizing that you do get to choose the people that you really care about, and that you kind of spend your emotional time and your physical time with. Again, in the age of modern technology and social media, and even places like YouTube, it becomes this natural setting to kind of just adopt as many friends as possible, right? Like if you have an Instagram account or a YouTube account, that's what we're on here doing. We're trying to get subscribers. We're trying to get followers on Instagram. We're trying to get friends, on Facebook, whatever platform you're using. But at the end of the day, we've kind of lost sight of the truest fact of most things that involve numbers, which is quality is usually better than quantity. I'm a firm believer of that when it comes to true friendships. And when I say true friendships, that's part of the challenge of this video, is I guess to really take a look at who's around you and who you've surrounded yourself with, and figure out if they are true friends. And when someone might ask, that question, well, what does it mean to be a true friend? Yeah, they're a good friend. But a true friend would really be someone who accepts you for who you really are. And the tricky part of that is that I often believe in modern times, especially because of social media and because of the fact that there's a little less person-to-person interaction when we're meeting people now, I do believe that a lot of folks out there are living a little bit of a false kind of reality as far as how they're putting themselves forward. It's very easy on social media, as we all know, to represent yourself one way when in reality you might be another way, in behind closed doors, or when you're actually spending time with yourself. The purpose of this whole question for me was to actually ask ourselves, who are we surrounding ourselves with? And are we being our truest self when we're choosing our friends? That becomes the tricky part, and that would be the challenge ultimately, or kind of the flip the script for the video today. It's that, am I, when I'm gaining my actual friendships in this world, am I actually truly representing who I am as a being at that time that I'm taking on friends? And if you are sitting there and you're able to say to yourself out loud, I am who I am, to the best of my ability at all times. I am who I am. And so as I'm choosing friends that will respond to who I truly am. That is fantastic, and congratulations, because that's actually really, pretty hard to do in this day and age when it's so easy to, kind of be whoever you want to be through the social media lens. But if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, wow, it's an interesting question. You might have your few core friends that have just always been there for you, or what have you. But if you're kind of looking and assessing at your more recent friends or friends that you've taken on and in kind of quantities because of those situations we've described before, like these social settings or your job, it's probably a good time to think to yourself, are they all really knowing who I am, and are they also folks that represent what I represent? So if you're someone who does aspire to be a true person and to represent yourself as truly as possible at all times, are the people around you that you're considering these friends to be also people who do that? I don't believe that friends need to necessarily all like the same thing, or all have the same hobbies, or all have the same interests at all. I think that's actually what makes relationships in general very interesting, to be of different minds and to have different interests. But I do believe that it's always important to be looking for good people to surround yourself with. And when I say good people, I mean people that are true to themselves. The truer your friends are to themselves, the truer you will be to yourself, because you'll be more comfortable and more able to just be who you are and not have to think twice about it, and just kind of naturally exist. And the more you can get together with people that also do that, not only the better will your life be and their lives be and your kind of relationships be in general, but I promise it blossoms out into, other people helping people situations. It's kind of one of these other great things that can be contagious, where people will pick up on it and people will realize, wow, this is, just a legit, genuine person, and they have a genuine friendship. And, it will quickly eliminate the folks that you don't really want around you. I think that's the most fascinating thing. I read a quote recently that had something to do with that, where it was basically saying that when you truly start to know and discover who you are, and when you start to actually be that person, you will very quickly realize who your real friends are and who the right people are that are supposed to be around you. Because a lot of folks won't really stick around. And I think that's a fascinating point to keep in mind at all times. Look, again, this isn't damage control. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, take a look at all of your friends and just, go through and basically, unfollow them in your life and kind of unsubscribe to them in your life. But what I am suggesting is that it is a great time, as always, just like we talked about with the location in the last video. It's a great time to take a look at who are you surrounding yourself with. And it starts from your closest relationship. It could be your significant other or your partner. And then it goes outward to your friends, your family, and kind of all spectrums that are all covered by things like, occupation and the building you live in and all these social circles that you're dealing with on these social media websites. The goal being to successfully take an analysis and not necessarily weed out or cut people off, but just to focus more on those that are your true friends, and the ones that truly are the way that you want to be, and that you can vibe off of, and that you can share energy, and that you can love, and that you can trust. And the more you spend time with those folks, again, in a quality way, instead of just always, trying to be, in this quantity, large social scale, the slowly better, I promise, your life will improve. It just naturally will happen, because people help people. Good people around good people, positive people around positive people, always ends up, breeding positivity. That's just the way it goes. It's pretty simple math. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I just want to, remind you that it's always up for review, and this isn't in a bad way. It's just one of these great freedoms that we have. I talk about it a lot on this channel. That's kind of what all these videos are about at the end of the day. That as you ask and answer this question for yourself, realize that there's no real scary answer. There's no bad answer. There's no answer to fear. The reality is any time the answer to the question is no, for example, today, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, you know what? Maybe I'm not surrounded by the best people I can be in my life right now. Guess what? There's great news. You can make a change if you want. It's very easy to do it. It takes a little bit of courage and it takes a little bit of pride, really, but these are good things. It will take qualities in you that will be great for you to exercise, because it'll be you actually sticking up for yourself, loving yourself, respecting yourself, and then therefore presenting yourself more truly and trying to gather people around you that also do that. And after that, really the possibilities are endless. Just some more, another example of a slight way to make some changes and have some pretty awesome upside, some great potential for things to be just more fruitful as far as life goes. Thanks for taking a look at this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you, again, haven't watched already the last video that I posted, watch them, think about them all together. Are you where you want to be in life, and are you surrounded by who you want to be surrounded by in life? Are you surrounded by people that are lifting you up instead of bringing you down, or instead of just encouraging you to be mediocre? We want to be around uplifters. We want to be around people that bring out the best in us. People helping people is the idea. So figure out where you want to be, figure out who you want to be with. The key to both of these situations, which we can go into maybe on another video, is, are you who you are? Are you who you want to be? Are you truly being who you want to be? It starts with that search, and then from there you say, all right, this is who I am, this is who I want to be with, and this is where I want to be. And as you start to figure those things out, that kind of trinity, a triangle, you're on your way to some more smooth sailing and riding some great waves. Have a great day, everyone. Remember, the only dumb question is the one that goes unanswered. Ask me the questions. Ask me everything. That's the idea. We'll answer them. We'll think about them. We'll get it all figured out. Be courteous to everyone out there, and find some great friends. And also continue to be curious. Ask yourself, am I ... really whatever you want to think. Am I in the place I want to be? Am I who I want to be? Am I with who I want to be with? And we'll go from there. See you next time.